What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday. We're starting the week off right, having Dr. Applesauce himself. What's up?
I said it's Monday?
Monday, dude.
Bro, I'm going to be 38 years old in 2 days, and I can't remember what day of the week it is half the time. That's one of the...
wild. Dude, my birthday's on the 29th.
Oh, yeah.
4 days apart?
That's crazy.
What do you say? You're 32, you said?
38.
38? All right, I'll be 35. So you're a few years ahead of me.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law, my sister-in-law's birthday is today.
Jeez. I'm telling you, a lot of people in my chats have been like June. There's a lot of June birthdays out there in this hobby.
Dude, I have. All right, so I'm gonna make this argument, and nobody can tell me that I'm wrong. Okay, I have legitimately the best birthday ever. There's nobody that has a better birthday than me. And do you want to know why?
I'm gonna say because it's halfway between Christmas.
Exactly halfway between Christmas, because I get presents. This is how I thought as a kid, right? I get presents exactly 6 months apart, while everybody else has to wait maybe 7 months, maybe 10 months, exactly 6 months. Every half year, I get presents. That's how I looked at it as a kid.
Same way, dude. I get it. It's
pretty much the same for you, right?
Dude, it worked out so perfect because, like, no matter what came out, you always got it at some point pretty quickly. For us privileged folk that, we got presents from our parents.
Sometimes I got presents. Usually I got presents from my grandparents. But hey, thanks for having me on, man. Everybody.
Yeah, man. No, dude, like we always have such great talks, and like, I always love the different perspectives, and like we definitely make different style content, but like that's one of the things we were just talking about before we came on. I'm like, you know what? Let's save it. Let's talk about it on screen. Yeah. Like, dude, one of the things I've always admired about you, man, is just like you have been able to pivot content so many different, not just areas, but also platforms. Like, going from all the different, like, just like, Funko stuff, like Pokemon, now it's anime, transferring from YouTube to the short form, like TikTok and shorts and reels and stuff. Like what do you think's been like the thing that's like added most of your success and create? Is it just like the passion for creation? Is it the ability to like stay on top of trends? Like, what do you think it's been?
Oh man. I not to get preachy, but I'd say it's probably just being consistent and being available when the opportunity arises. If that makes sense. Like, it's just, I realized I enjoyed making videos and I wanted to make videos about things that I was passionate about.
Yep.
And so it started off with Funko. I was like, I really like Funko. Let's keep doing that. And then it got to a point where I realized, like, not only could I didn't agree with the way Funko was doing things, to the point that like I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. And I realized I can't like emotionally and like mentally continue. My dog is licking something. Sorry. I can't mentally like continue doing this, but also there's not a future for Funko content creators. I realized that. I was like, I have to change. And so what had happened is I had started a Pokemon channel like years before, and you get all these trolls and like, kids that sit at home and, type on their Cheeto stained keyboards. They're like, oh, you left Funko for Pokemon and now you're leaving Pokemon for anime. And I'm like, you moron, you don't realize that for like 4 years, I made Funko content and Pokemon content every week.
Yep.
I would do it all the time. And, like, it's because I was passionate about both of them. And so I just kept doing them both. And then once I realized Funko wasn't going anywhere, stopped, put effort into Pokemon, and then realized, like, had a conversation with myself. I was like, well, what was my first love as far as like collecting or hobbies? And that first love really was anime. And now, so I was like, let's just start doing anime content. And another creator was like, this is when I was already at Collecticon, going to every Collecticon. Another creator was like, bro, grab a mic and start doing interviews with people. Like that content was Caleb? Really well. And then that's kind of how that started. So really,
was that Caleb?
Yeah. Yeah. And really it's just having a desire to just keep making content and enjoying that content, and then being available and being present when the opportunity shows up. Because if you like give up or you're not trying your hardest, or you're not being a team player, and then that opportunity shows up and you're not there to grab it, then I mean, you've missed it. And I hope that doesn't sound too cryptic, really.
No, because like, dude, I think a lot of people like, you know, depending on where they're at in their life, with their jobs, if they're a content creator, if they're running a business. I mean, I know people in the hobby right now, like including myself, like it can get monotonous. You know, I know Pokevault literally just put out a video, I think yesterday, talking about burnout, like talking about he hasn't posted much because he's had burnout. Like
I just took 2 weeks off.
There you go, 2 weeks off, and like, you know, for you were already at the point where you were already full-time content creation. I think people like discount the fact of just how crazy of a risk that is. It's like you have a content space you're successful in, you know, maybe you don't enjoy it as much as you used to, but it's still bringing in views, bringing in revenue, to like switch it up because you don't feel like it fits you anymore, and like go after something that there's no guarantees in. Dude, that takes a lot of guts.
That was wild. I took like an immediate like $1,500 a month hit to my income once I stopped doing Funko content. But there was always Pokemon content in the background, and like the first ever Pokemon video I put up was or the first ever Pokemon video that I recorded was a XY Evolutions booster box that I just went on TCG Player and was like, oh, XY Evolutions, this is like base set kind of, because this is what I grew up on base set. I was like, let's just buy Evolutions and do that. Let's start with that. And I bought that XY Evolutions booster box for like $130. And that was the first Pokemon video I made.
Oh, the good old days, man. Right? Jeez. But no, I mean, so now you got the TikTok going on. I mean, TikTok anime content, anime is getting blown up again. You know, I know you're, if you want to talk about anime, the conventions you're a part of.
Oh yeah. So I got to, I've been touring with Collecticon. I'm sure most people have heard of Collecticon. Been touring with Collecticon since the beginning, and Collecticon is doing really well. And everybody there had like a collectibles mindset, like first, but I had like a Pokemon and anime kind of mindset. And then so Collecticon decided they wanted to start a anime convention called Anime America, and they offered me the job. They were like, hey, we want to give you this job, and it was a very good job, and to be the general manager of Anime America to help build that out. And so I've been doing that since January. It was really cool. They really cultivated the position so that I could continue to do what I do. So that I can continue to go to Level Up Expo and have Level Up Expo pay me to come out and interview celebrities and like continue to make the content that I make. And they never once asked or considered asking like, hey, if you want to do this, you have to stop being a creator. They're like, no, we want you to be able to be a creator as well as this. So our first Anime America will be in Dallas on September 27th and 28th. We just launched like vendor sales. And for people to buy booths. And then we'll be in Houston in the 22nd and the 23rd. And I still go to, Collecticon's doing 19 Collecticons this year. And I'll probably be at half of them because I have my 2 Anime Americas. I have like 5 anime cons that I'm going to like network and meet vendors and try and learn. So this is the first year that I'm not going to most of the Collecticons. And it honestly feels kind of weird because it's like a little family there and I miss everybody. But yeah, Anime America is going to be fun. It's going to be really, really cool. We are going to have a sick cosplay contests. It's not going to be a TCG show like Collecticon is. It'll be anime focused with anime brands, and it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny too because like, you know, not being like a TCG show or like, I would say most of the creators in the space, right? They're either part-time and they have like real jobs and they make videos on the side, or they are kind of like me, like a creator, and then they also have some sort of business arm like in Pokemon. And like I feel like you're one of like, I would say the more few like kind of like just pure creators. Like, I mean, you don't really have, I mean, do you really have much of like a established like business where you're actually buying and selling all the time, or is it mostly like the creator side?
I did for a while. Just to supplement. I was like, hey, here's a way that I can like bridge the gap from here to where I am now. And so I did a lot on Drip, a lot at the beginning of Whatnot until Whatnot went crazy and I stopped working with Whatnot, and to supplement for a while. And now I'd say, hey, thank God I don't have to do that anymore because I don't want to do that anymore. So I did. But now like the business foundation that I'm building is with conventions, with clients that I make videos for, with doing interviews and realizing that I have have a gift for talking to people and interviewing people in like settings where it's set up for an interview, or settings where it's like the interview is just kind of like spur of the moment, we're in the moment type of a thing. So yeah, I mean, like that's kind of goes back to like being present and available. Like I knew kind of where I wanted to go, and I knew I didn't want to have a buying selling business, because I've been in customer service and sales my whole life, and I don't want to do that right now. But I mean, now I'm working on conventions and we have to sell vendor spots and stuff, so it's kind of funny. But
right.
That's kind of how
But to an extent, everything in life, I guess, is sales in some perspective, right?
Some way, shape, or form, yeah.
But the reason I kind of want to like leave with that question is it's like kind of get in some topics. It's just like I feel like everyone always is, trying to figure out like what agenda people have. Like, oh, well, you're just trying to say that because it helps your business. You're trying to say that because it helps your investments. You're trying to say that because it helps this. It's like, I guess, other than like creating content to help views, it's just like you can have a true like non-biased perspective on what's happening in the hobby, because other than people viewing your channel, nothing else is like tied to your income or your livelihood. And so it's like all your opinions are just your opinions. It's not like, oh, well, basically, is he trying to protect this? It's like, no, he's just giving his opinion.
Well, that's what's been so exciting and like liberating with my Pokemon content is like I can look at it like, hey, and I was discussing this with you a little bit, like my Pokemon content makes up like maybe 1/10 of my income, maybe 1/10 of the income is my Pokemon content. So like I'm not beholden to my Pokemon content doing well. Right. I don't need my Pokemon content to pay my bills. I do it because it's fun. I enjoy it. And I can legitimately just be like, hey, here are the facts of what I'm seeing, my opinions. I don't care if I piss GameStop off. I don't care if I piss off Pokemon. I don't care who I make mad. I'm not going to like ruin any relationships of companies that like, we work with regularly, but I'm going to tell it like it is and just give unbiased perspectives. And it's really liberating to be able to do that. And then you still, there's still plenty of people out there that like think I'm trying to sell things or think I'm a hypocrite because I just want to go out and buy everything. And I'm like, if you just use your brain and look, you can see that the last time I sold anything was in 2024. And like, that was only a handful of times. So it is
here. I have a hard question for you. What do you think is in a worse place right now? All right. Is it the like ultra modern Pokemon market as a whole, or is it the content space in Pokemon? What do you think is worse right now?
It depends on your perspective, and it depends on what kind of content. If you want to just make content that's drama and like, I mean, I could name drop 3 or 4 YouTubers that, man, they're eating good right now because they have no moral compass and they're just like whatever they want to talk about, whoever they want to throw under the bus, like they're loving it. So for them, that'd be great.
Right.
Realistically, I have to say the modern market is really bad and really stupid, and it makes for good content, which is why I'm just like, hey, I'll make videos. I'm like, I haven't really opened anything since before Surging Sparks. I had somebody send me a Destin Rivals ETB that like, hey, I made a video opening Destin Rivals. I was like, I really haven't opened much since Surging Sparks. And I just kind of sit back and I'm like, I can take a break and just speculate and commentate on all of this. And I have a very unique perspective that I can still engage and enjoy the hobby and be like, I'm not spending $100 on an ETB. If you want to smoke crack and spend $100 on an ETB and pull $2 worth of cards, you're by all means, please do so and have fun doing it. But I'm not doing it. There was a video. Oh my God. There was a video when Prismatic Evolutions came out. I felt so bad for this person, but also I was kind of like, yeah, I mean, I told people this was going to happen. This girl spent $1,000 on 6 Prismatic Evolutions ETBs on release day and pulled like $30 worth of cards, and she's crying. And I'm like looking at this video and I'm like, who do I be mad at? I can't be mad at her because she's probably new and doesn't realize like exactly that you're probably not going to pull $1,000 worth of cards. So like, right. Do I be mad at the person that bought up all the inventory and sold it to her for $150 a box? Are we mad at the people that are the the big YouTubers that aren't doing anything but just opening thousands of packs and not actually talking about what's happening? Like, do we be mad at those people? Who do we be mad at? I don't really know. It's sad. And along that vein, I'll have to say, like, this might spark some controversy, but I have to give props to PokeRev for like at least going out and attempting to like make videos talking about, hey, this stuff that's going on is wild. I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah.
But I still have to make my content, right? So like at least he's being honest in that regard.
Oh, he's
like,
in a no-win situation.
Oh no, he's like, if he's quiet, he's screwed. If he's open about it, he's screwed. So like, in my opinion, better to just, what are you doing? My dog
he's got all this product. He has like these giant openings, and then it's just like, obviously it comes off as hypocritical. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's even me, like, you can't give any opinion without people jumping on you because you have like skin in the game. That's why for you it's so nice because like you said, very little of your income depends on the market. You can just say what you want and it's just your honest feelings. You're not trying to like manipulate anything, you know?
Yeah, I'm not buying or selling. Even when I was buying and selling stuff, there was the majority of the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. So the first several sets of Scarlet and Violet and like the last half of Darkness Ablaze, the last half of Sword and Shield is when I was streaming a lot and buying and selling a lot. And even then I made like commitments that I would never sell new sets over $5 or $6 a pack on stream. I just never, I wouldn't do it. I was like, there's a lot of sets that I skipped because I was like, I can't get these and you know, keep that commitment that I've made. But then there would be like, hey, a couple months go by and then now it's not new. The market's established a value. I'd sell it and people would be like, well, you committed to never sell at scalper prices. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like there's already an established market on these. It's not like I've been sitting on these and, you know, selling them off like Safari Zone and other companies do for higher prices. But I literally,
that's actually a great point too. Like, cause me and you both were streaming during the regular market. Right. And so like a lot of people, you know, are like, oh, just wait till all this crashes. Like all you guys are going to be out of jobs. And, you know, it's like, no. People that were here before who have like a established business and everything. We want that too. Like, dude, if I can just go and get like distributor pricing on packs at like whatever and sell them for $4 or on stream, $4.50 on stream, that's better than this madness, right? I would rather do that than have to like go to the secondary market, try to order packs, try to sell them at $8, $9, whatever crazy prices. It's way better for everybody. You get more packs because it's cheaper. It's easier for me to obtain product. Everyone's happier. And so like, I think the idea that like rip and shippers like wants this market, I don't want that. I don't think people want this market. I think it's just like you're kind of pushed into it and you say like, oh, do I either just quit the business or do I adapt and survive? And it's like, well, we're in adapt and survive territory, kind of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that in that territory as well. And man, I can see like, I don't know if I've ever told this to you on stream or not before. I was at the inception of the Pokemon live streaming, live breaking,
with Whatnot
insanity. Like I literally, like, it doesn't matter, but we were streaming Funko Pops on Whatnot, and I literally told Grant and Logan, the creators of Whatnot, hey, you know what else would be cool to open on Whatnot is Pokemon cards. And they're like, really? You think Pokemon cards? I'm like, yeah, Pokemon cards would be cool. And so from the beginning, from then, and it was fun. And then I started to see, oh, I'm seeing what's happening. And then like, I truly believe that this isn't to say rip and ship culture is bad. One thing that I always defend you for, and I'll be clear and say like, you and I have very candid conversations. I'll have you in a video, or I got a lot of hell for having you in a video. People are like, I lost respect for you, Dr. Applesauce, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, how do people live in a world where like, you're so afraid to talk to somebody that disagrees with you on things.
Well, politics did it.
Or whatever, that like somebody that's doing that exact thing, like you lose respect for them because they dare to like spend time talking to somebody from a different perspective. And maybe you can learn or challenge your own opinions, right? But one of the things that I always defend you for when people do that is I say, hey, Alex took the time to build a platform and he streams on YouTube. YouTube is a heck of a lot harder to stream on than Drip or Whatnot, where they just hopefully spoon feed you viewers. If you want to like live rip and ship on YouTube, you have to have built a real following and a real platform that can survive outside of Whatnot and Drip and all this other crap, which is what you've done, which is smart, and to your credit, you have people that come to you for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important distinction between this crazy rip and ship culture, because I don't think rip and ship culture is bad at all.
Well, dude, I
But
remember my first collecting I ever went to was back in 2023,
Uh-huh.
and all the bags you got were whatnot bags. Like they sponsored
Yeah.
Collecticon back in 2023.
Yeah.
Dude, it wasn't an issue back then. No one
Yeah.
was like upset that rip and ships were happening because it wasn't
Yep.
the prices weren't high. So it's like the market rising and everything being more expensive almost caused like more hatred towards it. Because back then, yeah, there was hatred towards like all like the scammers and stuff, but no one cared that you were selling packs for $4 and $5.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's about scarcity. It's just like you were doing a live the other day, ranting, and I was in there and I was like, dude, people hate you if you're selling Pokemon cards. People hate you if you're opening Pokemon cards. People hate you if you make content and you're making money on Pokemon cards. If you buy Pokemon cards for yourself, people hate you. If you give them Pokemon cards for free, people are mad at you. If you sell Pokemon, Brian from Poke, and he knows this, if you sell people Pokemon cards at MSRP, they're going to get pissed at you. It's just, it's a no-win solution. You just have to understand that people are going to be mad, regardless of what you do. And so you just kind of got to do your own thing and let the people cry, and like, okay, go cry about. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We had haters back 2 years ago when, boxes were $85. Like there were still haters that you were even mentioning, like the financial aspects of the Pokemon cards. It's just like,
I remember that. Do you remember when people were hating on this is when the market was normal, right? People would hate on the opening channels that would price out every hit that they got.
Yes.
They're like, why you got to show the prices on everything? And it's like,
Yeah.
maybe it's because it's their content and that's what they want to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting question right here from Rad Jax. It says, I'm curious if you can see it. It says, I'm curious what different types of content should be made in this Pokemon card market. I'll answer it and then you answer it.
Yeah.
I think there's two answers to that question, Jax. Is, do you want to make content that is just going to do really well, or do you want to make content that you enjoy, right? If you just want to make content that you enjoy, just make the freaking content that you enjoy, right? You want to open cards and have fun, do that, like enjoy yourself and enjoy your content. If you want to make content that does really, really well, you got to look at what's happening, look at all the negative things that are happening, talk about the negative things that are happening in a way that's going to trigger people to click on that video when they get into it. And then, like, depending on if you just want to be negative or you want to actually try and be inspiring, you can cultivate and formulate how you say things. Like, one of the things I always like to do is, if I'm going to talk about something really negative that's happening, I'll talk about it. And then I'll also encourage people like, hey, here's ways that you can actually still participate in the Pokemon card hobby. It might not be the way you normally would want to, but here's things that you can do, and encourage people to, like, this is the perfect time to start playing the game. If you like, here's a hot take. If you like Pokemon cards so much that you're going to cry all over social media and cry all over people's comments that I can't find Pokemon cards, I can't walk into Target and have a smorgasbord of all the Pokemon cards on a silver platter that I want. I can't do it. I can't get things the easiest way that I want to, that I'm used to getting because I've been spoiled and my parents didn't teach me instant gratification when I was a kid. If that's what you do and you love Pokemon that much, then you love Pokemon enough to start playing the TCG, and you can enjoy it that way. You can go to stores for your pre-release events, and $30 gets you a deck and 3 new packs. And every time you win, you get another pack. So you could actually get like 7 packs. Like, I always will try and encourage when I do those negative videos. So you just got to look at it like, do you want to do videos that you just want to do, or do you want to do videos that perform really, really well?
And that's the problem. Again, like I just watched that PokeVault video. Rudy's talked about it. Alpha Investments, I've talked about it. The problem with YouTube creates it, like, because they give you all your metrics all the time. You don't want to see the red arrows going down your content. You don't want to see your video saying 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. You don't want to see all that. And so it's like, I always push it back on the audience. It's the audience's fault. It's like, if you guys would want to see other kinds of content, then people would make it. The problem is everybody wants to see the drama. They want to see the negative stuff with the charts going down and people upset. And so those get all the views. They go 1 out of 1 video. They get thousands of views in the first hour. And so it tells the creator, it tells us, well, do I want to have a successful YouTube channel and grow? Or do I want to put out content that maybe I actually want to make, but it's not going to do well? And so it's that constant battle in your head. And you can like do a little bit of both, but it's just like, it's hard when the audience doesn't want to watch the kind of content you want to make.
Yep. Yeah, people will comment. They're like, Will, why don't you open Pokemon cards and videos anymore? Because you don't watch them. You guys don't watch them. Unless your name's PokeRev, Leonhart, Real Breaking Nate, or Danny Phantom, nobody gives a rat's ass that you're opening Pokemon cards in YouTube videos. So when you ask your content creators, why don't you open Pokemon cards anymore? It's because people don't watch them. And it's really like, I'm on my soapbox today, right? But it's really liberating to not have to worry about my YouTube videos doing well to pay my bills and feed my kids. I can just make the content I want to make. I can show you. I mean, let's see if I can show it without like, doxing myself.
And hey, while you're looking for that, it goes right into this. Callisto said, rip and shippers are the reason scalpers exist. Scalpers have near endless supply of buyers and rip and shippers. That's a fact. It's like it or not. Again, I would challenge that with the same thing I said about the audience. If the buyers, if nobody actually wanted this stuff, rip and shippers wouldn't exist. Stores wouldn't exist. Like people want the items. So like it's again, it's demand is what causes content to be made. Is what causes stores to sell product. Yep.
Look at it. So I took a 2-week hiatus. Here's the 3 videos since I came back. All gray down arrows, all performing very, very
poorly. That tells you. And like famously, Mr. Beast said it famously. When you think algorithm, think audience. And so if the algorithm audience is telling you they want something different and you give them something different and it does well, that tells you now I'm doing something right. I need to do more of this. And that's why I can't even be mad at like some of the drama channels. Like you said, some people don't have a moral compass, but like, can you blame them? Like they're putting content out, it's getting crazy views, crazy sub growth. They're like, I'll just do more of this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't blame them at all. I mean, like I told you beforehand, I'll jump back on the train of like covering the crazy negative stuff that's going on because it's fun. And I just wanted to take a little break from it and do what I wanted to do. But like talking about the scalper fights, talking about the dude that got arrested at the Pasadena TCG show, and they literally hogtied this old boy and carried him out of the trade. I'm watching this. I'm like, what? Where did you, at what point in life did you make the wrong decision that led you to getting hogtied and carried out by your limbs from a card show? So you're going to end up in prison because you resisted arrest, and they might potentially be able to say you tried to harm a peace officer. So you could very well end up in prison, big, soft, chunky Asian guy. And the people are going to ask you, how did you get here? And you're like, oh, I stole Pokemon cards from a trade show. It's not going to turn out well, right? But like, I'll get back to making videos about stuff like that, and they'll get 20,000 views in the first 24 hours, and it is what it is. But I'm going to roll out some new content here in a little bit. Last convention I went to, I interviewed a bunch of people at the con, just went up to people that were Pokemon card collectors, and it was like, hey, here's a mic. Let's talk about Pokemon cards. What do you think about the Pokemon card market? What do you think about how hard it is to get Pokemon cards right now? What do you think about the fact that the Pokemon Center sells out immediately all the time? And I got to interview somebody that's been collecting Pokemon cards forever, a couple that started collecting Pokemon cards a year ago, so this is all they know, a guy that's been playing Pokemon cards competitively for 20 years, a vendor, King Gary, people that just flip cards all the time, a couple content creators, so a whole wide spectrum of perspectives. And like, that gets me excited and passionate talking to all these people. And so I'll put that video up, and it'll probably bomb and do cheeks as far as numbers are concerned, but it's going to be a cool representation of like, what do all these different people actually think? People that aren't on their own platform, people that are just at a card show and somebody comes up to them and says, hey, do you want to talk about this? What do those type of people think?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I had a similar idea. Like when Black and White's released, I want to go to like all the local card shops in my area and just like interview each person walking out of the shop with the Black and White product. Be like,
oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah. And just be like, hey,
that's a good idea.
How long you been in the hobby? What are you buying the product for? Like,
how long did you wait in line? What are you going to do with this?
Yeah. Cause I think, I mean, I truly believe that like online's definitely a bit skewed from like real life. Cause like I walk in the card shop all the time. There's so many people always sitting there, like with Final Fantasy, there were so many people sitting at tables, ripping it in store. I think this idea, the myth that like no one actually is opening or likes the product anymore. It's all just finances and money.
It's so not true.
No, I think people just like are giving in. They're like, yeah, it costs more now, but I really like this hobby. I really want to open the cards, and I'm just going to pay more and open it. And a lot of people still literally buy it at release and open the product.
Well, I go to enough conventions, I go to enough collecticons to see how much people rip. I bought 5 booster boxes at Collecticon Dallas and opened them.
I opened them there.
Yeah, because I wanted to, I wanted to buy some product and open them. And so I bought, like, there were Chinese boxes and Japanese boxes and stuff so I could be a little bit cheaper. But here's the thing that, like, I might crash out about this on a video and talk about this, but here's the scary thing. You mentioned Final Fantasy. Here's the scary thing, that most Pokemon card collectors are they have too much tunnel vision. They only care about Pokemon. They only think about Pokemon. They only care about what they want. They have too much tunnel vision to see what has history shown us in the past about situations like this. All you got to do is look at Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering did away with MSRP. There is no more MSRP for Magic the Gathering. And now we have booster boxes, collector's boxes that are $1,200. That when they released, stores were paying $700 for a collector box. Like, where Pokemon is heading is to the degradation of MSRP, to them taking on what Hasbro and WotC did and just like, well, we don't have any more MSRP. We're just going to decide what stores have to pay us for the product. And then you get these crazy variable markets that, like, sometimes...
In your opinion, what do you think of healthy prices for a booster box?
I think less than healthy price. I think there should be a minimum price limit, a map. So minimum advertised price. So there should be an enforcement on minimum pricing. What do I mean by that? You can't charge any less than a certain price for a certain amount of time. What that would do, so say map pricing was $150 a booster box, right? Or say map pricing was $140 a booster box. That's currently $20 cheaper than MSRP. Say map pricing was $140 a booster box. Pokemon implements this rule. Everybody that's buying Pokemon cards from an official source is obligated to follow that rule, lest they be penalized, right? So if that's the case, anybody who's trying, say for the first 60 days or the first 30 days, you can't sell less than $140 a box. You're going to have a ton of stores that are getting their boxes for 80, 90 bucks, whatever it is, that are more than happy with making $50 a box. They're like, 50 bucks, 40% margins is great. I don't need to be the bad guy. I can make 40% margins on this product and my community will love me. My guests, my stores will love me. My customers that come in will love me. You're going to have a lot of big stores that are more than willing to do that. And what that would do is that would cause anybody else who wants to charge $160 a box, $180 a box, no one's going to buy from them, because you're going to have all these other stores with plenty of product that are more than willing to sell at map pricing. And then that's going to cause all these other people to come down lower and closer to that. I think map pricing would really solve the issue. That's not the exact question that you asked. But I think for a booster box, $140, $150 for a booster box isn't bad. I think $5 a pack. So 36 packs, that's 150. So that's what MSRP is right now, $160.
Well, 180 will be $5 a pack.
Okay. So, like, I mean,
I think
if you're buying 36 packs, right? But
I'm with you, dude, because I think $4 is like 144, and then 450 is like, I think MSRP like 160 something. I think between 140 to 180 seems healthy. You know, like, and then like usually if you buy a box, you get like a little discount. So yeah, maybe a little lower than that. I mean, 140 to 160 to MSRP is $4 to $450 a pack. Like, I think that's reasonable. The stores make money. You know, you're it's not so high that everyone's freaking out. Like, but I don't know. I think Pokemon just has a hard time finding that pendulum. Like, it's either like too high or it's too low. You know, it's just like,
I just think Pokemon doesn't care.
It sucked for stores when everything was like $95, $100, and Safari Zone was blowing out pre-orders. Football Pete. It's just like, well, stores can't make any money. And then if you go to a card shop and God forbid they charged $110, people would freak out on them. It's just like, and now it's obviously not healthy. It's ridiculous. Hopefully we're on the way down with black and white, but like a map pricing thing, that you're right. It does seem like it would relatively help.
I mean, at least in the short term. And then what happens in the short, like if there could be something to alleviate the insanity that happens in the short term. So map pricing would cancel out the insanity of pre-orders being spiked. And that would cancel out the insanity in that first month. That would alleviate and allow an actual market value to be established, because I see who was in the comments saying I'm spending $239 to $250 on Destined Rivals booster boxes from local card shops. So here's how I have to look at it. I have to look at cost benefit analysis. What's the top hit in Destined Rivals worth?
Well, 350 to 400, I think.
Why the hell would I spend $250 on a box that I very likely will not pull the top hit from when the top hit's only $400?
Because you might.
It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, now,
honestly, the only one that like
if
I
it was
really
$150, that's different, right?
Well, the only set that I can actually, it's the craziest one that everyone hates the most, that actually makes the most sense, is Prismatic.
Yeah.
The possibility of a God pack. Okay. $10 a pack. I get it.
151 too.
Yep. 151.
Because you could
make sense. They actually make sense.
You can get the demigod pack that has the full evolution line, right?
I get it.
So as annoying as it is, it makes sense. And so I have to look at, like, if the booster box is $250 and the main hit's $400, and that's what I'm chasing, why don't I just buy the main hit?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it. I understand. I enjoy opening Pokemon cards too. I understand Pokedex Ace is probably like, I like to open the cards. It's fun. I get it. That's totally valid. 100%. But I guess I've just reached a position in life where I'm like, I got 3 kids. I have a full business. I have things that I want to spend money on. Why? I mean, I'd rather just buy what I want instead of chasing it and wasting. Because I've been there, dude. Yep. I've been there. I've opened 10 ETBs at $50, $60 an ETB and sit there and look and shame and not pull what I want and been like, dang, I should have just bought the card. I should have just bought the card. Like, I'm not sitting here and like criticizing from a perspective of somebody that doesn't know. Don't ask me how I learned all these lessons. And if you ask me, it's because I did them all myself.
Well, here, so Drew wants to know, though, if we had a budget of like 500 or less, is there a box out there that doesn't make sense to collect right now? I think definitely, like, especially when you get back to Sword and Shield, of course.
Oh, yeah. Any Sword and Shield box that's under 500, it makes sense. Honestly, if I had $500, I'd look at all. So I was like, I'm going to spend $500. I'm going to look at all the Scarlet and Violet boxes, and I'm going to buy as many Scarlet and Violet boxes that are under $500 as I can get for $500. Doesn't matter the set, because if it's just purely to like sit on 5 years, it's going to be worth a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of crazy how fast Scarlet Violet is just not just rising, but holding the prices. You know, it's interesting to see. Why are there no artist channels who dwell in commentary about Pokemon TCG art designs? I feel like there's potential market with that. The only thing I could think of is maybe there are, but they just don't get a lot of views.
I would say that those artists are more focused on making their art than actually spending time making content, because you don't understand until you spend time making content how much time making content takes. And if you're an artist and if you're making art and you want your art to look nice, then if you make content, you're going to want your content to look nice. And a lot of time goes into making a nice piece of content. So I would assume that an artist would just rather spend time making the art, or they put that up on short form content because it's a lot easier to get like a payback, like a payoff from your short form content. And you can be a lot more lax with like the quality of that content.
I love this question. Who decided that Moonbryon was 800, 1200, 2K? We all did. Everyone collectively decided.
No, what it is it's the cabal of all the big YouTubers. We had a secret meeting. And we bought out all the Moonbryons, and then we relisted them and we bought them all from each other again. And then that's why it's so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and no, he said, or did it drop at that price? No. It dropped much lower. Obviously, I think it was like $300-$400.
Dude, it was $300-$400 for a good while.
Yeah, and so I mean, here's the thing: it's just the demand. Like, so many people want it, especially after so many YouTubers start talking about it. New people that find the hobby, they get exposed to it, they want it. I think people are just like, I don't know, they don't really truly understand the level of the popularity of Pokemon worldwide. Like, you know, everyone like, I feel like gives too much credit to other media franchises and not enough to Pokemon. It's just like, oh yeah, Disney's huge. Oh well, yeah, Star Wars is huge. This is huge. It's like, guys, those are all a fraction of what Pokemon is. A fraction worldwide of Pokemon. And so it's like, if all these other, you know, media franchises can have all this popularity and worth all this money, Why do you not think Pokemon is going to have more than that? They're bigger.
Pokemon is, I would hazard to say, is legitimately too big to fail. As long
At
as
least in the near term, like our lifetimes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could start a series of events that over the next several decades could lead to like the destruction of Pokemon. But like, as long as they keep making new sets, and at least, I mean, to be honest, they could just regurgitate the same ideas every 10 or 15 years and go on.
You mean like always releasing a Charizard set, like 2 or 3 sets in?
Or bringing back Megas. So we brought back Megas, we brought back EXs. And so I was listening the other day, I was like, when are we going to get like a new thing? Right? Like, when's the new thing? They tried, Rapid Strike and Single Strike, and that wasn't popular. Like, when are we going to get like the new whatever, the new format? I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I want to see the new thing, right? Give me some new evolutions. Give me a ghost evolution. Give me a fighting evolution. Give me a dragon evolution. Like, give me a new.
We need all of that right now.
That would be sick. How sick would a ghost evolution be?
Ghost, dude, that would pop off.
How sick would a fighting evolution be that stands on 2 legs?
A dragon, dude, those would pop off. You're right.
Why?
I got my doctorate with you. I'm with you now.
You know me.
I got my doctorate degree. We got Dr. Shill and Dr. Applesauce in the same live.
Hey, I got to pay my bills somehow.
Dr. Shill, baby. Oh, that's funny. What we got here?
That's actually an interesting point. When I realized that I was going to do full-time content creation, the biggest goal that I had was to never have to shill or be seen as a shill. So you know how many sponsors I have right now? Can anybody guess how many sponsors Dr. Applesauce has right now?
Zip. One. Yep.
Out of the, good Lord, I'll do at least 8 Pokemon videos a month long form. If you talk about all my content, 40 videos a month. You know how many plugs they get?
Yeah. I have 2. I have a consignment service, Arizona TCG, and then Ava's binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then her company Misprint, I do for her. Like when she reached out, of course I was going to do it for Ava. Like,
yeah.
So like those are the only 2 I have.
That was a goal that I had, is to never like have to be a shill. But what's really interesting is like Raw TCG. I don't know if you're being ironic or you're busting balls, whichever. It's totally fine. I'm not mad at you, but like, you get people that bust balls on, let's say I'd say we're mid-sized content creators, right? Like,
yeah.
To a lot of people, we're huge content creators. The people that aspire to have their own content. I'm not downplaying what we've built. We're both very lucky, very blessed to have what we built. But in the scope of things, we're mid-sized content creators. When you start looking at these larger creators that have 500,
well, in the broader YouTube or content creation space, we're still small. Yes. I would say we're mid for like Pokemon, maybe.
You look at broad, like all across all other niches or whatever. I'm not even talking about Pokemon anymore, but larger YouTubers with 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and they're putting out, maybe 1 video a week, maybe 2 videos a week. Some of these guys, I just froze again. Let's see if I, okay. Most of these guys that have these big platforms have a sponsor segment in every single video.
Yeah.
So what is it about? People are fine with these huge YouTubers getting a payday. We're like, one guy that I really like, Papa Meat. Papa Meat does a commentary channel. He has a Magic the Gathering channel. Very hilarious guy. Every single video has a sponsor segment in it. And sometimes it's not even a sponsor that's relevant to whatever niche he's talking about. It's just some random like MeUndies or Factor or some adult toy website. It's like, what's the disconnect that like people get mad at mid-level creators like you and me because we want to get a payday, but these big guys, people aren't busting their balls because they're like doing random sponsors for like random companies. I mean, at least we try and keep it relevant to like what we're talking about. Right?
Dude, I say no or don't respond to 99% of the things that reach out. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Dude, even like watching TV, it's just like you're okay sitting through commercials for some big network to make money. It's just like, it is strange. I've never, even when I was like not a content creator, I never cared that people were like promoting things.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to get paid and make a living.
Yeah. I have creators that I enjoy watching and like their sponsor segment comes up and I'm like, wow. I mean, I could be like, oh man, why are they putting this stupid ad in here? No, but I'm like, oh, this is cool. They're getting paid to do this. And I look at it like, how could I make my ad It's more fun. Like people have fun ways of making their ads fun and stuff. I look at like that's a cool way to do that.
Yeah. What do you think about this? This is kind of like a thinking question. Do you think this generation, the whole generation isn't into traditional work, would rather make money through Pokemon? I'm starting to believe the market is booming because people are doing it full time now.
I would agree.
I mean, full time, like, is, I guess, if scalping has become full time, I don't know if that's sustainable, but I don't know.
I wouldn't say it is. There's a lot of people that are doing it full time. I take it back to like what I told you about being a full-time creator and then having a foundation of business.
Yeah, we had many talks about that when I was like thinking about taking the leap.
Yeah, like there, and I'm finally, after like 8 years, 6 years, 7 years, I'm having a foundation that's being built that is sustainable. You got to look at people that are jumping into scalping full time or flipping full time or whatever you want to call it. Like, what happens when you can't buy something low and sell it high anymore for those people? Like, what do you do? You just move to Labubus.
Oh, dude, don't say the word.
So they just move to the next thing, and then they move to shoes, and then they move over to the next thing that's being flipped, and then they go flip the PlayStation 7. And
dude, I'm gonna tell you, this is a serious story happened today. I kid you not. Me and my buddy that works with me, we were sitting up eating lunch, and my wife comes in and it's like, I was just watching this new Shane Dawson video, and he's talking about the things and how they're like demonic and stuff. And I'm like, look, I go, Nick, just stop. I can't even hear about those stupid things right now. I can't. It's so stupid that people are getting into these. I can't even rack my brain with it.
Here's so like, if you are a man and you collect Labubus, I'm not insulting you, okay? I'm not saying anything bad. Now I'm going to proceed to make fun of you. At Collecticon, I have friends that like Labubu, so I'm not trying to be mean, okay? Whatever, honest to goodness, whatever you like to collect, that's fine. Seeing grown men walk around with dolls strapped to their man purses and they have their nails painted. Guys, we've lost the plot. Okay.
I feel like we're gonna get canceled somehow with this conversation.
I don't know. I don't get. And again, I have friends that like Labubus. I have guy friends that paint their nails. It's not like a legitimate insult, but it's just, I look at it and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're popular. The first time I heard about
nails thing, that is like, I remember like there's people that do jiu-jitsu that will paint their nails black. So yeah, there's some badasses out there that paint their nails.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. The first time I heard about Labubus was from my tattoo artist. I was getting these tattoos.
Yeah.
And his 7-year-old daughter was sitting there and he was like, oh yeah, so my daughter collects these Labubu things. Have you heard about them? And she's showing me her Labubus. I think that's the demographic that Labubus were meant for.
Yeah.
There wasn't people lining up and fighting over them. I don't know. Again, if you collect them and you like them, I'm happy for you. If you're a big 250-pound dude with a beard and you're stocky and you have a man person, you're walking around Collecticon with your Labubus on it. Hey man, if it makes you feel good,
hey, you do great. You boo boo.
I'm not mad at you for it. I'm just not going to do it. So I took my friend Megan. She had a Labubu. And I was like, oh, hey, can I see that? And so I took a picture of it and posted it to my story. And I said, am I cool now? So many people have messaged me. They're like, no, you gave in. I was like, no, I didn't. I just took a picture.
I will, if my streams get to the point where they are going to zero, and if I have to sell Labubus to save it, I will happily get a different job.
You're about to say I will happily do it. I'll be like,
I will go down with the pokey ship. Which brings me to my next point. I think I saw it somewhere. Somebody was asking about the different languages and stuff in the hobby. Like, what's your take on all this stuff? Like, I mean, obviously Japanese has always been a thing, but now like Chinese is really popping off with the exclusive stuff. Korean's even been big because even Japanese has been high. Where do you think all this kind of lands? Like, do you think it kind of goes back to English and Japanese? Do you think Chinese has a spot? Do you think even all these Korean, Indonesian stuff where do you see it all kind of I guess contracting to when things slow down?
I think there's a place for all of it. Personally, for me, I just want to open cards, so I don't care what language it's in.
Gotcha.
So when I was at CollectCon Dallas, I opened a bunch of I opened a couple boxes of the Japanese or the Chinese Gem 2. Oh, I pulled the Sylveon from the Gem 2 boxes. The Chinese
Yeah, but I've been opening those up on stream. People really like them.
$50 a box to have
Yeah.
some fun. Or I don't care if it's Korean or I used to open a lot of Japanese because it was easy to get and affordable, and like you were guaranteed at least one halfway decent hit. I think there'll always be a place for all the languages. And I think while things are the way that they are, if you're one of the people that's like, I just want to open cards, buy Chinese boxes, buy Korean boxes. Who cares? It's still official Pokemon card. Like for me, it's about the artwork, right? So like there's a card that I'm wanting right now from Y Schwartz, and there's this set that came out, and there's one card in the set that I want. And like the English just came out. So I'm looking for that card in Japanese because it's going to be a lot cheaper in Japanese than English.
Right.
It's the same card, just Japanese kanji and English. I don't care. I'm going to save money. Somebody said something that was really great and it's gone by now, but they were like, the more you get into collecting and like collecting TCGs, the less you want to open and the more you just want to buy what you want. And
what do you think's up with the Shinji Kanda? The I don't know, lure behind it, the popularity. It's
I think his artwork's just awesome. I think that's what it is.
It's crazy. I don't think we've seen an artist blow up like that since like back in the day.
Yeah, his artwork is just super, super cool. I think it started with the Giratina and then the Magikarp, and then everybody was watching because it probably had a little bit of the hype and the value from those two associated with it.
Yeah.
Like it helped that the first big piece he had come out was like a major hit, right? Like it helped, but his artwork is also really, really cool. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, being around so many conventions right now, what are you kind of seeing with the hobby? Does it still seem booming? Does it seem to be slowing? I mean, what you've interviewed people. What's your kind of, I guess, gauge in the market right now?
I think it's still too high, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it'll eventually go back down, probably slower than usual because there's a big difference right now. There's things that I am able to hear because of the stuff that I get to do and the people that I meet at conventions. Something that's never really happened before is there's people that like, I'm not talking about Pokemon investors like you, and I'm not trying to slight you in any way when I say this.
I don't care.
I'm talking about like Fortune 500 level investors, like people with massive bankrolls, looking at Pokemon cards and other TCGs as legitimate investments,
right?
Instead of your traditional forms of investments.
Right.
Because of what's going on. I don't believe that that's happened before. So what we're seeing is people look at Pokemon as a way to transfer from an investment that's just on your computer screen to like an actual physical asset investment that has nostalgia behind it, right?
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen is that people are doing that. And I think we're going to see it keep going until people can't afford to buy anything anymore. And then there'll be a crash is what I think will happen. Like we saw something very similar to this 5 years ago in COVID and, with Logan Paul and all that. And I wouldn't say there was a crash there. I mean, things got cheap, but I wouldn't say things just crashed and burned, but I think it'll be more dramatic than that whenever it happens. But I could be wrong. There's so many people that are interested in Pokemon now that like maybe there's enough people interested, maybe we'll have to keep going and really see what the number is that's the breaking point where people aren't willing to spend that much money on an ETB and on a booster box. Because like my biggest fear is, like I said, the Magic the Gathering effect. There is no more MSRP on Magic the Gathering. It's tough to be a Magic the Gathering collector and player because you never know how expensive something is going to be. There's no way to tell. It's all based on the market, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad.
Just from like the interviews and people talking to people at the event though, like what do you think like the overall consensus is? Are people still kind of like, are they having a good time, still happy? Like, are they upset or feel run down? What do you think?
Honestly, like I'd say the overall consensus is people are frustrated.
Okay.
But people are willing to figure out ways to still enjoy, right? And to still love Pokemon cards.
I would say that's what I feel too.
Yeah. And I mean, granted, I'm at a TCG convention, so by default, most of the people there are big enough fans to like go out in public and go to a con, right? That like removes a little bit of obstacle to like accidentally run into somebody that's just like, I'm just buying cards for the heck of it. So pretty much everybody's already qualified as a relatively decent fan just by being there.
How is CollectCon doing? I mean, they added so many events. They have 19 events. What they have last year, like 12?
Yeah, we did 12 last year.
How's it going? Are they still like better than ever? Selling out, all that?
Yep. It's doing very, very good. They're doing great.
I mean, that just tells you right there, like, I mean, the demand's there.
It's been a joy and an honor to be a part of it since the beginning and to still be a part, and then now to be a part with Anime America. But I can't say, but there's things that are being talked about that could happen that are very, very cool.
Oh man,
that's all I can say.
You're gonna do that again?
That's all I can say.
You're gonna do that? I had to keep under wraps the whole anime thing. Now you gonna keep this under wraps? Yeah, I mean the CollectCon owners, they definitely they made some smart moves in the convention market. I mean, there was a very real void there. Now you have other ones popping up, like Front Row's doing really well. But like, yeah, CollectCon came at the point when like it was like still just kind of all random, other than like the big, sports card show, the Nationals, it was all just like random small card shows all across the nation. And it's just like CollectCon was that first, like, hey, we're going to put a brand behind it. We're going to go nationwide. And now other ones are starting to pop up doing the same thing.
Well, what's interesting is like, I would offer suggestions like, hey, we should do bigger shows. We should do this, that, and the other. But like, I see the genius behind why they do things the way they do, because the three guys that built it and own it, I'm working directly with them every day. They're training me to teach me what they know to build Anime America and to adjust for an anime convention instead of a trading card convention, right? But I see the genius behind why they've done what they've done, because like every Collecticon, there's more vendors that want to vend than tables.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah, you can't get a table.
Because more people, and that like, if you have a commodity that people want, it's better to have people constantly wanting it than to have people have more available than people can buy, right?
And vendor POV content's bigger than ever. I would say arguably it's the biggest content in the hobby.
I remember when Bulbasaur was doing vendor POV content and nobody cared. And he just kept doing it. And then he's the OG that, as far as I know of, the OG vendor POV creator that like finally popped off. And like now at Collecticon, there's probably like 5 or 6 other vendors that have like made their own variation of shirts similar to his. And it's cool to see.
And you have other vendor POV channels that have really blown up too. It just seems like that the vendor POV right now, it's even bigger than the drama kind. It's I would say the biggest content growing content in the hobby right now. And I think it is. I had a video about this. I think it's the action. I think like, especially the younger generation, they love the action of it. They love the counting out the $100 bills. They like the swaps. Like, oh, I bought this for this. I sold this for that. I made this profits, the coin flips. Like there's so much about it that's so like enticing for content.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see the allure. For me, I never fully understood it because I don't enjoy that type of content. I'm not saying that it's bad. Like you might be surprised to know I don't watch Pokemon content. I don't.
Yeah.
I watch content about like traveling and variety content and things like that. Like that's what I don't watch Pokemon content
because I keep it very minimal, like very minimal. Again, because I mean, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea anymore. Like I just feel like a content space has kind of went in a direction in this hobby that I'm not really that much like enthused with. And so like, yeah, I haven't watched as much as I normally have either.
I have to say, I think it's insane that it's the middle of the day on a Monday and you have 370 people in here.
It's a lot of people.
Awesome. I've never figured out.
Maybe no one is working anymore and everyone is full time. That guy's right.
What do I have to do to get people to show up to my lives in those numbers on weekdays? Like, just maybe I should have Opossum Butt on as my inaugural thing. And
dude, that
be like,
oh my God,
yes.
Dude, that would be on every person's reel. That'd be amazing.
I'll break the internet, bro.
I thought about doing like a whole week of that. Just like every day of the week, I have a different one of my haters on. Call it like airing of grievances week.
Some of them would be good. Some of them would be absolutely not productive whatsoever.
Dude, Mason is saying, what do you guys think of the new end game ruling of Pokemon? Oh, wait, is this just collecting talk? Okay. Mason, I don't even know what that is.
I have no I know how to play Pokemon, but I don't stay up to date enough with like all the new rules. Like I would probably hear about that the next time I go play pre-release. I'd be like, oh, what's this? Okay, and then I'd learn about it. No clue what that is, Mason.
Yeah, man. I know the game. I don't know what the new ruling is, but I wish I did. We could talk about it, man. I'm sorry.
I play Battle Academy with my son from time to time. He loves it.
Is that different than the regular game?
It's like it's the same game, but it's like pre-built decks. And it's really teaches you how to, so like when you first open it, you don't shuffle the decks because like you can go through and it teaches you exactly how to play, and then you can shuffle the decks and like just actually play. So it's a simplified way of learning how to play with like 3 main decks. You have 2 decks that are like normal power level, and then you have 1 deck that's like a little more powerful. It's like $25. There's nothing in it valuable. It's the perfect way to like, if your kids want to play, or if your kids like to play, but you just want to have some simple stuff to play from time to time. It's really, really cool. And then there's the My First Battle decks that are like basically what Pokemon Pocket is modeled after. Like 3 prize cards, faster hands, stuff like that. That's My First Battle. That's what I taught my son to play on.
I'm trying to find, someone's asking about, okay, here. If Pokemon Center had products available at MSRP with things returning normal, would it be a good business strategy for them to do that or not? Well, yeah, so this is like, guys, this is all new. Hoosier, I don't know how long you've been in the hobby, but like the entire thing used to be was people would wait until boxes eclipsed Pokemon Center pricing. And that was the only time you ever heard about Pokemon Center. Otherwise, everything on there was like considered too expensive. And everyone would be buying on TCG Player and eBay when boxes are 110, 120. And so like the only things you really bought on Pokemon Center were PC ETBs. And even then they didn't, back in Sword and Shield, they didn't really sell out. I think up until recently, you could still buy Sword and Shield era product.
You remember the original, like the first few sets of Pokemon Center ETBs that were like actually different than the ETBs?
Yes, they used to be different art, and they were bigger.
Or think about the Pokemon Go ETB. It was like legitimately a completely different design.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah, and so it used to be a different market. Like nowadays, everything's so optimized and the prices are so different. But like, yeah, I think if prices ever get to the point where they're under, I don't know if it's Pokemon Center, but I think it's just the overall demand and supply. Whenever the price goes back under MSRP, you won't see Pokemon Center sell out because they'll be able to get it elsewhere.
I think it'd be really interesting. I mean, if I was in charge of Pokemon, I'd probably do something like this just because I like to see what happens. I think it'd be really interesting if Pokemon took and said, here's all the sets that we currently have the ability to produce from here to here. We can currently produce these sets right now. And then put up booster boxes and ETBs for those sets at MSRP for unlimited orders and see what happens. And just like keep producing. Hey, every so often, boom. All right, make all that. So I think that'd be hilarious to see what happens.
Or do you think go back to printing less sets per year?
Well, I mean, when was the last time that they did that? They've maintained the same printing schedule for years and years and years and years and years, right? Yeah. Like it just
seems like 6 sets. It's like a few of them pop off. You can't reprint all of them and keep the new sets printed fast enough. It seems like.
Because the drive is the rotation of the TCG. The TCG rotates at certain intervals. So if you change the amount of sets that you're printing, you change the entire rotation of the competitive scene, which is like the foundation of all the Pokemon cards or Pokemon TCG. When Scarlet and Violet came out and everybody was griping and moaning saying, oh my God, these sets are terrible. There's nothing in here cool. I was telling people, hey, you have to understand Pokemon is setting the foundation with viable new cards and mechanics. And after Scarlet and Violet's been out for several sets, we're going to get some really cool hyped sets. Then what happened? We got Pokemon 151. We got Crown Zenith. We got Twilight Masquerade.
Crown Zenith, Sword and Shield.
No, it's not Crown Zenith. Prismatic Evolution. Sorry. We got Prismatic Evolutions. Like about halfway through, we start getting all the hyped sets. It's almost like if you pay attention to history and what's happened in the past, you can predict what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, almost. Well, man, I won't keep you all day, brother. Is there anything else you wanted to hit on before we call things?
Dude, if you're watching, just stay tuned for when I release the interview videos. I haven't seen anybody do long form, like IRL interview.
Oh, it's long form. How long is each interview?
Oh, dude, I did 8 people that are probably 5 to 8 minutes each.
Okay.
So I'll probably do 2 separate videos.
Oh, for sure.
And then I'll probably put the King Gary video on its own. So I'll probably get 3 videos from it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen anybody do long form interview content, just interviewing Pokemon card collectors in this current market, asking them what they think, asking real people, what do you think about what's happening? And lots of smiles, but lots of people just being honest about like, this is tough. This kind of sucks. 2 new collectors that are like, this is all we know. It's really expensive and hard to get things, but like they were still excited and still a part of it, even though it was hard. Right. So
Yeah.
if you're watching, like, stay tuned for that, because that's going to be cool. Like, I think it'll give cool perspective. And it's not even really me. I'm just saying, hey, here's the question. And it's these other people talking a lot.
All right, well, let me put you in a spot with one last question. So, like, dude, I got blown up so hard in one of the videos a long time ago. Like, Reddit picked it up, and my video is a 36% like to dislike ratio.
Ooh,
because
fun.
the Reddit mobs all got sent there, and it was actually
Yeah.
doing fine. The video was doing fine, like normal 90-something%. And then all the Reddit mobs came. I got tons of heat. All the drama creators picked it up and talk crap on me. But all I said in the video, I guess the big things people didn't like was, if you're unhappy with the hobby right now, maybe take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you're unhappy that like things are too expensive, like what do people do in other aspects of their life? Maybe possible find another way to get increased income. And dude, I got lit up for it. And so like, I guess I want to hear like your perspective, like for people right now that are unhappy saying, well, things are too expensive, I can't afford it right now, all these things, like what's your advice to people who are trying to collect in this hobby right now in this current market? Is it to wait? Is it to look elsewhere? Are there areas like what perspective can you give them?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly foolish to buy at the prices things are at. Unless you just have the disposable income and you're going into it realizing like, I'm probably not going to pull the value, but $250 for the experience of opening this booster box is worth it to me. If
Yeah.
that's your perspective, then I think that's fine. But if you're actually trying to pull something or wanting to pull value, it's really foolish to buy things at these prices right now. You're going to lose 99% of the time. That being said, you can still enjoy the hobby in a lot of ways. It's the same thing that I tell people in videos is like, if it's too expensive to buy and open all the time, just wait and buy the singles that you want. Well, I really enjoy opening Pokemon cards. Okay, buy some Korean cards. Buy some simplified Chinese gem boxes and stuff like that for $50, because those, for whatever reason, are super cheap. They don't go up very high. Buy some different languages to satisfy that urge that you have, that fun to rip packs. Maybe that's how you connect with your kids. Well, I want to rip English packs. Well, then now we're getting into spoiled territory of I just want what I want. Then you have to decide, is it worth the price for me just to get to open the packs?
And that was one of my points was when I was a kid, I only got like maybe a couple packs a week. Like,
oh yeah,
maybe go back to only opening a couple packs, and maybe you don't need to get yourself a whole booster box.
I made $5 a week allowance. You know how my Pokemon card addiction started? I saved my allowance for 3 weeks. I had $15. MSRP for a booster pack was $3.99. My mom took me to the Wizards of the Coast store at the Huntington Beach Mall. Yep. I bought 3 packs of base set and opened them up and pulled Charizard, Blastoise, and Mewtwo. And that's when it started.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Like, maybe look at a different language. If that's not your thing, open less packs.
It's still just as fun.
Dude,
if you're opening
if you comb through TCG Player, I think if most people comb through TCG Player and just go through the sets, dude, you can find some of the coolest art, coolest cards to collect that are like $2, $3, $4, $5 still to this day, even in these sets that have like $200 booster boxes, because a lot of the cards just aren't, only the top cards have all the value. And so it's like, I understand everybody wants to chase the top thing. Everyone wants to open the most expensive set. Everyone wants to open max amount, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff to collect that you can do it on budget.
Well, you have like China putting out these, this is an exclusive box to China. You can only buy this in Chinese, at least for now, right?
Shield the rip and ship tonight, guys. You want to open some?
and then you have hits like, this is the second biggest hit in the set, the Sylveon.
Yeah.
There's the Umbreon. This card is only in this language in this box. And this box is $50. Like, there's cool things to find, but this goes, I actually made an anime video about this today. It goes to our instant gratification culture. We as a society have lost the discipline of delayed gratification. people see English Pokemon card. People want English Pokemon card. You know, like, but there's other options. And if you truly love Pokemon and collecting Pokemon, take a break. I just came back from a 2.5 week break. Or if you don't feel like you need to take a break, find ways to adapt.
Yeah.
Open different languages. Play the TCG. You're not getting to open cards, but you know what? It's cheaper and kind of more fun.
Absolutely, dude. Well, dude, all right. So, guys, if you don't see Will at Anime America Convention, interviewing all of the top anime voice actors and artists and things like that at Collecticon, you're not watching them on his channels, Dr. Applesauce 2. Where else? Where else can they find you, man? Everywhere.
That's about it. Yeah. Dr. Applesauce everywhere. Dr. Applesauce
Instagram, 2, TikTok.
Pokemon,
I mean, dude, check it out. I mean, dude, I think everything kind of overlaps. Pokemon, anime, like it all kind of overlaps. Like if you like one thing, you're probably gonna like it all.
I mean, I said I did all those long form Pokemon interviews. Obviously, I'm going to cut them up into short form too. So there's going to be an influx of short form Pokemon content just because I think people are going to want to see it. And, you know, I'm really excited for those videos. It's fun. I really like talking to people. And it doesn't matter if those people have the same opinions and perspectives or not. I see a huge disconnect in failing in our society today of people not being willing to listen to somebody that thinks differently than them, right? Pokemon space
and just real unfiltered like we need that, like, because everything online, it's just like people are just gonna kind of agree with like the tribe or like the creators that they're kind of a part of, where it's like just walk up to random people at an event, they have nothing to gain from it, they're just gonna give you their real thoughts.
And then 9 times out of 10 they don't even know who I am. They're like, I'll never see this guy again. It was funny when I was at DreamCon. We'll end with this. I was at DreamCon, which is a big anime convention. First time I ever posted up my camera, light, big camera, kind of looks official, right? I didn't move for 2 hours because people just came up and were like, hey, let's do it. And so my best friend, who's also monitoring my camera for me, a couple times, I always tell people, hey, I'm Dr. Applesauce. If you want to follow me, you can. But if you see yourself in a video, you're welcome to ask for a tag and I'll tag you. You know, I'll be happy to tag you. And so people walk off. A couple of times they would come back and like ask me questions. And my best friend Ty goes, yo, these people are totally like looking you up and seeing who you are and coming back and being like, oh, please make sure to
give me that tag.
Like that's a new one for me. That's a new one for me.
I like that, man. I like that. Guys, make sure you check Will out. He's got some good content. Definitely going to be less. I say less controversial than mine because I don't know. Like, it's talking about money and finances in this market. I know Pokieni, like he even said something. He's not going to do as much business content right now because it's almost like in bad taste. And so I get it. Some of my stuff's not probably the best timing right now in this market. But yeah, man, a lot of your stuff's more entertaining and just fun and chill. So if you guys want some of that stuff, check them out.
Appreciate
you. I guess I'll see you soon. See you soon at KC.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool, man. All right, guys, that's it. We will be back in a new one soon. We are out.